So Hare Krishna everyone, and thank you all for joining this morning. And so today we will discuss part two of last Sunday's session. So last Sunday, Narottam Prabhu was there, and we discussed in detail the pastime of passing away of Bhishmadev. And the pastime was so nectarian, so nectarian. It was well attended by lots of devotees. And so what we'll try to do today is we'll try and look at some critical aspects from this pastime, and we'll try to analyze it a little bit further, and see what we can learn out of it. So we'll churn the same pastime more to get more learning out of it, and that's the specialty of scriptures. You can keep getting more nectar out of it by putting in a little bit extra effort. So we will try to do that today. We'll learn more about the same pastime, about some aspects which were not spoken about during our session, and some aspect which could be a repetition, but it's nevertheless it's a worth repeating. So can everyone hear properly?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Sakshi Mataji, can just see if you can adjust your headsets, or as the case might be. Please check and let me know if you still continue to face problem, or hope it should be good for everyone. But otherwise, in between also, if you feel there is any problem, please prompt me. I'll try and make some adjustment.
पप्पा काल घेतलेला पेन कुठे ठेवला?
Yeah, sorry. So let's get started with today's discussions. I'll mute everyone. I will have some opportunity to discuss. So that time you can unmute and speak. So topic for today's discussion is learnings from Bhishmadev pastime. And so we did learn few things, and we'll try to learn more out of this. So this is the famous pastime which took place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Bhishma is standing tall in the chariot, and he's fought so bravely, so well, that Krishna had to give up his vow, and had to break his own vow to keep the vow of Bhishma, because Bhishma had taken a vow that I'll force Krishna to break his vow, and that what Krishna agrees to do happily. So he got down from a chariot, picked up a broken wheel from nearby. He could have summoned the Sudarshan Chakra, but he was in such a chivalry mood that he chose to pick up a wheel, and by that taking that wheel, he started charging towards Bhishma, and Arjuna was mortified seeing this, because he was worried about Lord's vow, and he said he will not let him down. He will fight more bravely with Bhishmadev. He will fight with more vigor, and so don't break your vow. And that's why Arjuna is pulling his leg and is trying to stop Krishna from charging to Bhishma. And Bhishma looks to be in perfect ecstasy, seeing Krishna breaking his vow and charging towards him to attack. And he described it as if angry lion charged towards an elephant, and to kill him. And this he considered to be the perfect moment for him to during his in his entire lifetime. So this he considered to be the perfection of his life, forcing Krishna to break his vow. So We'll look at some aspects about this pastime. And yeah, I'll just hide the. Okay. So key learnings from Bhishmadev pastime. And we have listed a few. There are more than this, obviously, but we will try to take these learnings, understand these points through these pointers, and we will go deep into each of these points. So the Bhishma was a great devotee of Lord, had full knowledge of him. So he was not sentimentally connected. Just because of the sentiments, he was not worshipping Krishna, but he had full knowledge about Krishna. And we will see in some of the verses that he spoke before giving up his life, that indicates how knowledgeable Bhishma was. And we will speak more about that aspect. Bhishma perfectly followed Vaishnava etiquettes. He served devotees and he served Lord till the very last moment of his life. So we will see from example of Bhishmadev how this was implemented by him, how he did this during his lifespan, and what we can learn out of it. He instructed Yudhishthir, another devotee, because he had compassion. Uh, सिर्फ compassion होके फायदा नहीं है, because if you want to instruct someone, you should have followed those instructions by your own self. Plus, you should have the knowledge, the core knowledge which you want to impart. And which kind of knowledge? The spiritual and material subject knowledge. The knowledge about the spiritual subject and knowledge about material subjects. So we'll go through that aspect of Bhishmadev's personality, where he instructs Yudhishthir, and what does that mean? What those instructions mean for us? What we can learn out of those? Let's try to explore those. The detachment from material world and relationships. So he was sitting here, sitting here with Pandavas. Pandavas were very, very dear to him, because in a joint family, when a father dies, his children, the other elders in the family, become especially more responsible for taking care of the children of the person who has left this world. So that way, plus Pandavas were virtuous, they were saintly, they were good people, they were caring, they were reciprocating with Bhishma's love, and hence it was natural for Bhishma Dev to had all the Pandavas were very dear to him, especially Arjuna. So everyone was very dear to him. So he was sitting amongst all of them, but he chose at some stage of this conversation, he chose to withdraw himself from everyone. And we will see this aspect of his personality, that detachment from material world and relationships, that was demonstrated by him very well. Attachment to Krishna. So the detachment from world is possible only if you have some higher attachments, and that attachment is attachment to Krishna. And so Bhishmadev demonstrated this aspect of his personality as well. He was attached to Krishna, and we'll see how he demonstrates that and what we can learn out of that. So it will be a slightly longish class. We expect we need to cover a lot, and we also in between try and discuss as well wherever time permits. So hope all of you can stay on till we complete, and then we'll conclude with the usual question answer session. Okay. So which knowledge is most important? So if somebody is in jail, which knowledge is more important for him? How to live in jail comfortably, which can be done by, so यहाँ पे दिख रहा है कि उनके hands are tied, so you can bribe a hawaldar, bribe a policeman, or bribe a gatekeeper or the jailer to have you open those handkerchiefs, the handcuffs, and then so that you can move around easily, nicely. Also, you can make arrangements with your relatives to get nice food, nice blanket. If it is hot, then an air conditioner, and so on and so forth, so that your stay in jail becomes as comfortable as possible. if you can have set up some nice lights. So this is a knowledge of how to become comfortable inside a jail, how to live in jail comfortably. So this is one type of knowledge. Second type of knowledge is how to get out of jail. So which of these two is more important?
Hare
Anybody
Krishna,
can?
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Till the time means we are in the material jail. It is always good means like if we think of living here comfortably, but that can only be done with devotional service, and that is the direct way of getting the knowledge how to get out of the jail. So the second point is more important. But if we engage ourselves in devotional service, the first point is covered in itself. Like that is
Okay.
very the minuscule part of that. Yeah,
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So while we are living in jail, we should try and do everything to be as comfortable as possible. But our focus or the primary important piece of knowledge is how to get out of it, because that's ultimately you're in jail otherwise. And staying in jail comfortably has no meaning because you lose your freedom. So the knowledge, so the transcendental knowledge is the most important knowledge, and how transcendental knowledge is acquired. So let's talk about that aspect. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita instruct that the knowledge of transcendental knowledge is how to attain Krishna, because apart from that everything is material. How to go to heavenly planets, that's material because you will eventually fall down. And because everything abrahma bhuvanar loka purnaravartino arjuna. So mam upatyatu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. So up to the planets of Brahma to the hell, down up topmost planet to the downmost planet, all these planets gets annihilated when the annihilation happens. So none of these are eternal. So if you want something eternal, you have to go out of these planetary system. So you have to go where mam upetyatu kaunteya. So you have to go and attain Krishna. And once you attain Krishna, punarjanmana vidyate. So those who attain Krishna only does not get birth again. Otherwise, in the reverse order, the birth is guaranteed. The birth in the material planetary system is guaranteed. So the knowledge, any knowledge which will help us attain Krishna is transcendental knowledge, and that is the most important knowledge. And that knowledge, Krishna says, can only be obtained by my own mercy. We need Krishna's mercy in order to obtain that knowledge. Otherwise, this knowledge is not at all possible to get. We are not. It is not possible to get that knowledge fully. So that we're considering four verses from Bhagavad Gita, which elaborate explains this point further. So durena yav avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvichha kripanaha fela hetava. So here Krishna is saying that in the initial part of Bhagavad Gita, in the initial part of our bhakti, in the initial stage of our bhakti, we have to use our intelligence and surrender to Krishna and come towards Krishna. So we may have some intelligence which is given by Krishna himself. Using that intelligence, we have to inquire. We have to inquire about, is there some permanent destination that is available? Is there something more meaningful than living a life and dying at the end of it? When the death comes, all our plans, we plan our life so meticulously. For every event, we make some perfect plans for our education, for job, for getting promotions, for increasing our salary, for getting to our best destination, getting to our best house. We would have planned for some, living in a 3 BHK apartment, 4 BHK apartment, and a bungalow, or buying a perfect car, buying a perfect vacation. We do everything so perfectly. We plan so much around all this, and we try and execute all those plans. And however, in spite of all this, there is one event that comes unplanned, that is death, and which shatters away all our plans, whatever we would have done. And so everything is so systematic in this world, but the death is one such disruptor which shatters everything. So we have to inquire using our buddhi, using our own intelligence. We must inquire why at all we cannot live eternally, why at all we cannot live young forever, why we have forced to become old much against our wish, why we are forced to experience diseases. We don't want to fall sick, we don't want to become old, and we don't want to die. So if this is our eternity, this is our thirst for eternity, this is our quest for eternity, we want to search for eternity, we want eternity, we want permanent happiness, we want permanent love, everything we want eternal. So this search for eternity, why it is destroyed, why it is frustrated in this world? Because when death will come, whatever plans we would have made, they all will be disrupted, and we are forced to exit from this world, and then we are forced to come back and start from nothing. So Krishna says, using your buddhi, you must inquire while you are living in this world. So that's the 2.49 stage. By the time we come to 10th chapter, Krishna says that, okay, that's good that you inquired, you started this journey using your buddhi, but you cannot progress much without my anukampa, my mercy. So tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. You can attain me only by intelligence which will be given by me. So there is a role that Krishna has to actively play. It is not a one-sided effort that we do alone and we attain all the results. So there is our effort, and there has to be a reciprocation from Krishna. There has to be some actions from Krishna which will give us buddhi, which will give us intelligence to further understand Krishna, to further know about Krishna. And by knowing Krishna, when we perform devotional service, mam upayanti te, by we can attain Krishna. And this Krishna does out of special mercy that he has for all the jivas, especially for those jivas who are endeavoring to attain Krishna, who are even at least putting an effort to attain Krishna, who have turned their faces towards Krishna and making small steps, taking small steps for progressing towards Krishna. Now Krishna becomes very happy with those people. And so those are devotees, or those are sadhakas, or those are practicing devotees. And tesham, so for them, Krishna is additionally giving intelligence. So with their own intelligence, they started the journey, but their progress depending upon the intelligence that Krishna will be giving now in this verse, as he mentioned in this verse. And once we get this mercy, once we get this experience of Krishna's anukampa or mercy, causeless mercy, the devotee gets thrilled, devotee gets happy, devotee becomes extremely delighted because he is now experiencing Krishna's mercy. And so he had initial faith, and now he has personal experience of Krishna's mercy. Now with this, he's now prepared. His initial faith, which was a small shraddha or small faith, has now turned into conviction. And with this conviction, he is now ready to do the last step, take the last best step in the process of bhakti. That is sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. He's ready to live life for Krishna. So for normal sadhakas around us that we see, bhakti is part of their life. So they have overall life in which they have family life, they have working life, they have clubs, they have sports, they go to dance and they do this, they do that, they follow politics, they follow economics, they follow stock market. So this is their life in general, and bhakti is part of that. So if you all consider it all to be a circle of 100%, bhakti could be 1% of it, 2% of it, depending on the piety, it could be 10%. However, the 90% is not something else other than bhakti, something else other than Krishna. For such a person, making good progress becomes difficult unless he keep increasing this percentage substantially. For a devotee, his life is bhakti. His life is Krishna. His life is sadhana. This is his life. And so if bhakti is my life, in order to facilitate this, I will do everything else. I will need to work, so I will also work. because I want to do bhakti properly. I will get married so that I can have a nice family, and so that my day-to-day needs are taken care of. I can follow, the whole family can then practice bhakti properly. So all other actions become become supplements for practicing bhakti seriously. So this is sarva dharman parityajya. So Bhishmadev also had knowledge, had acquired knowledge, and from where when he was born, he was small. Mother Ganga took him to heavenly planets, and there he, from the sages over there, he learned all this knowledge. He taken all this knowledge from the sages from heaven. So going to heaven and studying Shastra is something like going to Maldives for studying for my IIT entrance or for some important exam. Why? Because the heavenly planets are full with all objects of enjoyments. It's like just like Maldives is full with all attractions for tourists. So there are so many distractions are there that it become extremely difficult for someone to go and study sincerely, very seriously, and come out victorious, come out win those clear those exams with substantially grand grades. So that becomes a austerity. So Bhishma performed that austerity. So having gone to the heavenly planets, he could have indulged himself in the sense gratification, but instead Bhishmadev was busy in studying scriptures conclusively with their proper conclusions from the sages in the heavenly planets. And because of that, he had obtained perfect knowledge about the Vedas and their conclusion. So their conclusion is to know Krishna. Vedescha sarve aham eva vedya. That I am to be known by studying of all the Vedas. In the 15th verse of 15th chapter, Krishna says this. And so Bhishma had learned this knowledge perfectly from the scripture, from the study of scriptures. So this knowledge of Krishna is classified into two broad categories. One is Aishwarya Gyan and second is Madhurya Gyan. Aishwarya Gyan is knowledge about greatness of Krishna, that how Krishna is great. And knowledge, Madhurya Gyan, is knowledge about sweetness of Krishna, that how Krishna is sweet. What do you mean by that? So the greatness can be perceived by the fact that by knowing the fact that Krishna is omnipresent. Krishna knows everything. He is present everywhere. He knows everything, and he can do anything. He is omnipotent. So these aspects make Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is cause of all causes. There is no cause for him. So if you go back, what is our cause is our Father and our Father, and if you keep going back in the hierarchy, it's like starting with we may be drinking a glass of milk which comes from cow, and cows survives on the grass. Now grass gets produced by rains. Rains are produced by Indra or under the guidance of Krishna, and ultimately Krishna is the ultimate cause for everything. So in any event, the Krishna has no cause. There's no cause for Krishna. So that's why he is Sarva Karana Karanam. So and therefore only he can manifest all these qualities, omnipresence. He is present everywhere. We'll see this from the prayers of Bhishmadev, that he acknowledges this. He's present here and he's present everywhere. He knows everything. Krishna knows perfectly everything. So that's why when he gave those 5 arrows to Duryodhana, Krishna within his heart he is present in heart of Bhishmadev as well as Duryodhana. So he knew this secret, though this was supposed to be a big secret. He obviously knew this, and then he told Arjuna to go and pick up those 5 arrows. He is omnipotent. He can do anything. Nothing is impossible for Krishna to do. And so that's his omnipotency. uh, and Krishna also possesses all the six opulences in full. He's all beautiful, that's why he's known as Krishna. Krishna is all attractive. He's famous. He owns this planet, and he practically the whole planet, all the planets. He owns everything. Nobody else can own anything without it's they all own what is already owned by Krishna. They all are caretakers of these properties, which is owned ultimately by Krishna. So he owns the mountains, he owns the oceans, he owns the countries, he owns the continents, he owns the planet, and he owns the planetary system, the solar system, and the whole universe. So everything that we have is owned and controlled by Krishna. So that's his richness, that's his power. His unlimited power. He has unlimited knowledge. He has all the knowledge, and he is perfectly renounced. Though he has everything, he doesn't get entangled in any of these things. He's free. He is free to play with his Gopa friends. He's free to do rasa dance. He is not burdened by all these things. So he's completely free and he's completely renounced. So this knowledge of greatness of Krishna invokes respect, gratitude, humility, awe, and reverence about Krishna. And this is very important in bhakti. So in bhakti, it's good to become sentimental at one level, but becoming sentimental without proper knowledge can be misleading in bhakti. We can't treat Krishna cheaply. Bhakti is not a cheap process, and hence knowledge about Krishna's greatness keep us on our toes, that we are dealing with someone who is the most powerful person in this planet, in this whole universe. So so Prime Minister of India is the most powerful person in India. the the president of America could be more powerful overall because of their might, but Krishna is far, 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 far greater than all of them, and most all of them put together also. So there, if we are dealing with Prime Minister of India, we will deal with certain respect. We will deal with certain etiquettes. We will follow. We will not take it cheaply. We will not consider him cheap. But at the same way, we have to approach Krishna. We have to approach Krishna with this knowledge, with his knowledge about all his potencies, and that's what will keep us humble in front of Krishna, and not get carried away while we are praying to Krishna. We will pray with proper attitude, with proper respect, as it is necessary, because Krishna is all that great, and Bhishma completely had this knowledge. Madhurya Gyan is about sweetness of Krishna, that Krishna is engaged in exchanging various rasas with his devotees, performing different pastimes to please the devotees, and in the process, he also derives great pleasure. So these loving exchanges, which are also known as leelas, are like a play that Krishna enact, along with his devotees, and the devotees participate, and both of them experience greatest joy, greatest pleasures in the process. So he act like a baby boy and becomes hungry and start crying in front of Mother Yashoda, and then Mother Yashoda thinks, oh, so Krishna can't do anything without my help. I need to tie his dhoti, right, feed him food, and then he goes to herd the cows, and after coming back also he becomes so hungry, that I have to be on my toes to take care of him for every small details. So that's how a Mother Yashoda will think, and because that's how Krishna will make her feel that her service is needed and her contribution is valued in Krishna's life, and that's what give her Vatsalya rasa. That's how she can enjoy her Vatsalya rasa to the fullest. And in the process, Krishna also gets to enjoy childhood pastimes, which otherwise uh, who will otherwise become his father, who there is no father for him. So this way he experiences the love of parental affection also. Similarly, so this is how the five rasas, the primary rasas, the madhurya, vatsalya, sakhya, dasya, and shanta rasa. So Krishna perform loving exchanges. So this knowledge is important. Why? This knowledge invokes affection and love for Krishna, because these pastimes are so sweet, these pastimes are so nectarian, that hearing those pastimes from pure devotees invokes affection and love for Krishna. Now, in order to worship Krishna, we have to know about the Krishna. In order to love Krishna, we have to know Krishna. So knowing his greatness, Aishwarya, or knowing his sweetness, position us properly for performing sadhana bhakti in our day-to-day life. So how do we know whether whether Bhishmadev had this knowledge? It is visible from these verses. So when Krishna appeared in front of Bhishmadev, was on the bed of arrows, and he was visited by Pandavas and Krishna. And when he saw Krishna coming there on the day of Makar Sankranti, when he was about to leave his body, everyone visited. And so Krishna, when he saw Krishna, he uh, he worshipped him duly, even in this condition. Even in this condition, it is said that Krishna knew all his glories and he worshipped him duly. In the 10th verse of 9th chapter, Krishna, this is mentioned. Krishna, and then Krishna then Bhishmadev offers some prayers, and uh, this is how devotee. This is the mood in which this is how devotee. So whenever you come in front of Lord, you must offer some prayers, and for that, it is a good idea to memorize some nice prayers, which we can offer to Krishna. Whenever you go in, stand in front of a deity in a temple, you should start offering some prayers. And that's the proper mood that keep us in the proper mood when we see deity. Otherwise, we will be seeing which ornament he's wearing, which color of dhoti he's wearing, and we'll be probably in some time we'll just get distracted and start seeing everything else other than Krishna. So when we offer prayers, our attention, we get reminded of his greatness, of how great this person is in front of whom we are standing, and then we take his darshan, and that becomes a proper mood in which we should approach Krishna, we should approach God. So Bhishma is started offering prayers that this Sri Krishna is no other than inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer, but he is moving amongst the descendants of King Vrishni, just like one of us. And he is bewildering us with his self-created energy. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.18. So Bhishmadev knows who is Krishna. He is the original personality of Godhead. But he's wandering amongst us, just like us. So he's acknowledging this fact. Pandavas know, very few people knew this fact, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And so hence people, sometimes they would be, people generally were ignorant, but those who knew were also getting covered at times by the yoga maya, so that the pastimes could happen. So further, Krishna says that Bhishmadev says that, O king, O Lord Shiva. So he's addressing it to Yudhishthir, but he's speaking about Krishna. So that Lord Shiva, Narada, the sage amongst the demigod, and Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead, all know very confidentially about his glories through direct contact. O king, that personality whom out of ignorance only you thought to be your maternal cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., is that very personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Being the absolute personality of Godhead, he is present in everyone's heart. He is equally kind to everyone, and he is free from all the false ego and differentiation. Therefore, whatever he does is free from material inebriety. He is equibalence. So this is knowledge about Krishna's Aishwarya, or his opulence. But Bhishmadev has knowledge about his Madhurya Ras also, Madhurya Gyan also. What is it? This we come to know from the subsequent verses, which is we have picked up verse 24 and 33, and one more verse which we will see later. So many may my Lord, now he's directly talking, turning from Yudhishthir to Krishna directly. And he's addressing Krishna that may my Lord, who is four-handed and who is beautifully decorated lotus face with eyes as red as the rising sun, is smiling. Kindly await me at the moment when I quit this material body. Sri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the Tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. This is verse 33. So it's very important for us to have knowledge about Krishna, the object of our worship, and that knowledge is broken into broadly classified into two parts. One is Madhurya Gyan and one is Aishwarya Gyan. And Aishwarya Gyan invokes the respect, the gratitude, awe, and reverence about Krishna, and which is necessary so that we can approach him properly. Madhurya Gyan invokes affection, love for Krishna, because by hearing his pastimes in Vrindavan, uh, we also develops attraction towards Krishna, and that's very critical. And Bhishmadev demonstrate through these verses, series of verses, that he knew perfectly both aspects about Krishna. Bhishmadev, when it became known that Bhishmadev will quit his body, uh, it became known, and all the sages from all over the world, all over the universe, started appearing assembling in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And then there is a list of sages who arrived for this event, to witness this event. So, so this is how. So Bhishmadev, uh, when Bhishmadev saw all these sages coming, he followed Vaishnava etiquette. So he is a Mahajana. So he is an authority in preaching Krishna consciousness. So and at the same time, why he is authority? Because he's demonstrating by his practical example that he's following all the Vaishnava etiquettes. He is a perfect Vaishnava. Therefore, he can teach others what to do. And so next point is how Bhishma followed Vaishnava etiquettes by serving devotees and Lord till the very last moment of his life. So just to see, so we'll see some verses from verse 5, 6, and subsequent verses from the same 9th chapter. So just to see the chief of the descendants of King Bharata, Bhishma, all the great souls in the universe, namely rishis amongst the demigods, brahmanas and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there. So everybody assembled to in the battle of in the Kurukshetra, and in the Kurukshetra, so that they can witness this great event, glorious event of Bhishmadev passing away. The list of rishis given: Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God himself, Bharadwaja, Parshuram, disciples, their disciples, Vasishtha Rishi, Indra, Indra Pramada, Tirtha, and Ashti, so many, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, and Sadarshana, all these great sages were present. Another set of sages were there who were like Sukadev Goswami was there, and other Kashyapa Muni was there, and Angirasa Muni was there. So all of them. So there's a list of rishis who were present. So Bhishmadeva, what did he do? Bhishmadeva, who was the best amongst all 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there. For he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. So having, not only knowing is enough, you have to demonstrate that you actually know through actions. And he, in these conditions, also perform his Vaishnava duties of welcoming everyone. Now they all have, he is lying on the bed of made of arrows. So all those arrows had pierced from his body and from one end and coming out from another end. Now in this condition, he's lying on the ground on those arrows, and he's welcoming all rishis who have come to witness him giving up his material body. What a consciousness that one need to possess. So Srila Prabhupada had invited all his disciples from to come to Vrindavan when he was about to leave his body. So many of them actually could come, many of them couldn't come because of their services. But this is common principle that we should invite our loved ones, if possible, to witness the passing away of a pure soul. It's purifying for those souls to see the reality, ultimate reality of life, and it is auspicious to see a pure soul leave, though it is though it is it will be a great loss for the uh, for the for the remaining family members, but nevertheless it's so they can so therefore when a person, a pure soul leave or a devotee leaves, we the Vaishnavas assemble there and they perform sadhana. They chant for the person who is about to leave. They they chant 24 hours for the benefit of that person. They read shastra, they read from Bhagavatam, they read from Bhagavad Gita. They perform various activities which could give remembrance of Krishna to the person who is about to leave body. And that used to be the standard practice, and that's what Prabhupada also demonstrated. When he left his body, he was surrounded by devotees who were chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24/7 non-stop for so many days. So that's how devotee should aspire to leave one's body. And other devotees should help as well in the process. So Bhishmadev was facilitated by all these sages who come there, and not only sages, the personality of Godhead personally came to witness this event, so that you don't have to worry about the picture of Krishna. Krishna is personally present there, and then that's great fortune that Bhishmadev enjoyed because of his relentless service to Krishna during his entire lifespan, and we will see that more later. So as a practicing devotee, how can we respect, honor, and serve senior devotees to the best of our capacity? This is what we should also be doing. How to do this? Prabhupada, Srila Rupa Goswami has taught us in this beautiful verse from Nectar of Instruction that dadati pratigrahanati guhyam akshati pruchati bhunte bhojayate chaiva shadvidam priti lakshanam. That there are shadvidam priti lakshanam. There are 6 symptoms of love. Which are these 6 symptoms? That offering gifts and charity and accepting charitable gifts from devotees. So whenever we visit devotees, we should carry some gifts for them. And when devotees, when we are visiting devotees, we should carry gifts, and when devotees visit us, we should offer them gifts. This could be anything as per our yatha shakti, as per our capacity, but the principle is that we should give them something. We should take, even when we go to visit Lord, when we visit temple, we should not go empty handed. We should carry something, a fruit, a flower, whatever. If nothing, at least some Lakshmi can be donated there, something can be put there, so that we don't have to go. So this is again a principle. It's more of a principle. What you take will vary according to the time, place, circumstances, your capacity, as per your ability. However, principle is to give something. And wherever we go, we should, as a guest we go, we should take something for the host. And when we are inviting people, we should nevertheless give something to our guest. We should not let them go empty handed. Same principle applies when we visit temple, any temple. We should take something for the Lord, because that's how we know that Lord is a person. We have to know that Lord is a person. And when we take something to him, he is going to get pleased with it. Why not? Why should we leave any opportunity to make Krishna happy? And he can become happy by simply offering him a flower. That's what he confirmed in Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. So this is the most important, but some most it looks very obvious. It seems very obvious, but it's often missed out and often not followed by as a etiquette by people nowadays. So this is very important: receiving gifts and taking gifts. Bhunte bhujete is offering prasad and accepting prasad. Now and this is again most important. We should call devotees at our home and cook prasad, offer it to bhoga, offer bhoga to the Lord, and offer it to the devotees. And that's very purifying. The whole process, because devotees will not come and talk about stock market or the latest cricket match. Devotees will come and talk about Krishna. Devotees will assemble and perform kirtan, and that will purify our consciousness. That will purify our environment. So we should not leave any opportunity of calling devotees home and offering them prasad. Similarly, when we are requested to come visit other people, other devotees, we should honor it. And we should go there and do these activities. We should discuss Krishna consciousness. We should discuss about Krishna. We should sing kirtan. We should sing bhajans, and we should take prasad. So these are very obvious, seemingly obvious characteristics, principles, but they need to be followed consciously, properly in the Krishna consciousness, in the devotee association. The last is again the one of the most important. Last two are the most important as well. Guhyam akshati pruchatam. Guhyam are is revealing our mind. Prabhupada has translated it, that reveal one's mind in confidence to the devotee. So what our mind contains? It contains material desires. It may contain lust. It may contain anger. It may contain jealousy. It may contain all these anarthas. So what is the purpose of showing this to a devotee who is free from all this? So that he can guide us to become like him. We don't have to, what we go to doctor and show our sickness, but we want him to advise us on how to get cured. And with this intention, we should engage in a confidential discussion with devotees. We should reveal our difficulties that we face, why we cannot get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and join chanting sessions on Zoom, or why it is so difficult to be in Krishna consciousness all the time, why it is difficult to remain muted when class is going on, so on and so forth. So so this is revealing our heart to a devotee. That's very important for making progress in bhakti. Similarly, when the other devotees, when they will reveal their heart, if we are in the position of authority, if we have that seniority, we should guide a new devotee. So when they reveal their heart to us, and this is process of this is all the matter of love. This is all a matter of love and care. That's how devotees interact with each other. We've picked up some quotes by Srila Prabhupada from various letters and lectures, wherein he put a lot of emphasis on this fact. So Prabhupada wanted this society to be based on love. His disciples remain so much loyal to him. He became his disciples, and they practically did everything what Prabhupada told him to do without questioning. And he could enjoy so much authority over them. They were American, completely different people, had completely different backgrounds, but he could exercise so much authority over them because he was connected with them with love, in love. These people, all those devotees were in love with Prabhupada, and therefore they were prepared to do anything and everything for Prabhupada. And so he cared for his devotees, he cared for his disciples, and he practically loved his disciples, each and every one of them. And therefore they reciprocated, they did everything whatever Prabhupada told them to do. And that's what we see from these statements of Prabhupada about the reciprocation, about the love which is the foundation of our society. So our society is like one big family, And all our relationships should be based on love and trust. Srila Prabhupada later, August 6, 1970. Another letter, Prabhupada says that you are all my children and I love my American boys and girls who are sent to me by my spiritual master, and I have accepted them as my disciples. So another exchange, another lecture, Prabhupada says the whole system was that love exchange. I give you some service, you give me something out of your love. Dadati pratigrahanati. Love means 6 symptoms. I give you something for eating, you also give me something for eating. If I am in trouble, I express my open mind before you, and you also try to help me. These are the 6 signs of love. That is Vedic civilization. Everything exchange of love. No business, no mercantile. Srila Prabhupada lecture in Los Angeles. Another couple of conversations, beautiful statements by Prabhupada. You have got some bit of love for me. Therefore, you carry my orders. Otherwise, it is not possible. And I cannot also. You are foreigners. You are Americans. I came from another country. I have no account. I cannot also order you. You must do it. Otherwise, I will chastise you. Because there is love, it is a connection of love. I can become bold enough to chastise you, but you also, in whatever condition, you carry out my orders due to the basic principle of love. And our whole philosophy is love. We are just trying to love. We're just trying to learn how to love Krishna. That's all. So without the basic principle of love, these things cannot be conceived. Srila Prabhupada Conversation, Dialectics, Spiritualism, Chapter 7. Another lecture, another letter, Prabhupada says, I can only suggest, and wherever possible, that can be applied, but I do not force anyone. After all, you are working so hard to please Krishna only out of your love for me. So there can be no question of force if love is there. We should not even try to force anyone to reduce our society to an impersonal business exchange. This will kill everything. Our only purpose in every endeavor is to simply to make advancement in spiritual life or in pleasing Krishna. Srila Prabhupada later, 9th April 1972. The third aspect, so we've spoken about the how Bhishma was a perfect devotee and in perfect knowledge, and we spoke about the Aishwarya Jnana and Madhurya Jnana, and how that knowledge is acquired principally by the mercy of Krishna. Then we spoke about we also spoke about the etiquettes that Bhishmadev followed when he welcomed all the sages and he welcomed all the welcome Lord Krishna himself. And then we saw the importance of our dealings with devotees, how we should deal with devotees, and which are the 6 things we should be hoping to do with devotees more. So the whole process is based, it's not an impersonal process. We may be connecting through digital platform, but this is only a means of communication. This is not the end. So objective is not to just stay connected digitally. Objective is also to go further, and because here it will still be a one-way conversation. You will not have many opportunities of revealing your mind. We will not have many opportunities of having prasad together, and that is all can be done in yatras, at least for the digital preaching. So the yatras become key. Yatras become so crucial, where we all can sit together and take prasad and then discuss Krishna consciousness, discuss our difficulties, and therefore we encourage everyone to come for yatras for this one reason. So it's not impersonal business. It's not. It is everything is personal in Krishna consciousness, because every person understands Krishna consciousness philosophy differently. So it's very critical that we explain this to individually, though we may speak with the entire group, but the understanding happens personally, individually, and therefore this relationship between devotees is so crucial, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Bhishma instruct Yudhishthir Maharaj. And so Yudhishthir Maharaj himself is a great devotee, and he had to take instructions. So he couldn't. So Krishna allowed Yudhishthir by his yoga maya, Yudhishthir remain in illusion after having concluded the war, after having killed so many people. Now he's feeling morose that how could I do something like this, which has caused death of whole generation. So many people have died for my sake, just for me to become a king. How could I be so much selfish? So and with this, in this mood, he is now refusing to accept kingdom. He's now refusing to accept, become king and act like a king. He's a kshatriya. This is his principal duty. But he's refusing that. And therefore, Krishna is now advising Yudhishthir to go and take instructions from Bhishma. Now, this is Krishna's arrangement to allow Bhishma to serve him at the last moment also. And this is the moment for which Bhishma is also waiting. He had Ichha Mrityu Vardhan. No, what was the point of him waiting on the bed of arrows for so many days, for so many days, suffering all through all the pain, when he had this boon of giving up his body anytime. So the Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the Mokshadaya Ekadashi, and that comes at around say 10th of the December, and then from then onwards, about 18 days, the war happened. Then so war probably would have got over by 28th of December, towards the end of December. And then the last rite ceremonies were performed for all the warriors who died from both sides, especially from the Kaurava side. The 101st son of Dhritarashtra, who fought war on the side of Pandavas, he performed last rites for the Kauravas. And on the Pandava side also, there was huge casualty. So Yudhishthir performed last rites. And then it is said that he was coronated. He didn't probably some he accepted, may not be a big ceremony, but he formally accepted kingdom. He became king, and then he accepted royal opulence. Yudhishthir accepted the kingdom, and then he went to meet Bhishma, and then Bhishma instructed him for many days before finally giving up his body on the Makar Sankranti. So this is a chronological order of event. So Yudhishthir is now seen here sitting at the feet of Bhishmadev and taking instructions from him. And this is a perfect way to learn. So he is king. He is king of the whole world. He's just become victorious. He's just one of most important battle, the biggest battle that he has ever fought. And he has already won that battle, and he's not puffed up. He's not proud. He's not arrogant in his victory. He's become more humble. He's becoming more sober. And now what is he doing? He's sitting at the feet of his Pitamaha and asking him questions, asking him questions and requesting him to share knowledge, inquiring from him. And how it is done? It is done through, as it is described in the 34th verse of Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattvadarshinaha. The jnani who has seen the truth can give you knowledge. Why? Because they are self-realized. They have give knowledge because they have seen the truth. But when they will give? When you will inquire about it. When you will inquire, how you will inquire? Tadvidhi pranipatena, by paying obeisances, in a humble mood, asking questions after performing sevaya, service. So this is the mood in which we should approach devotees. That we need to all the devotees will give us knowledge provided we approach them in this mood. So Yudhishthir is inquiring humbly, and that's why he becomes eligible for receiving knowledge. What knowledge Bhishmadev giving? Bhishmadev is saying that terrible he's counting all the terrible things that have happened to Pandavas, and he said, they may all these tribulations, yet in spite of you being good religion personified, you suffer all this. Now injustice and suffering, the miseries, the hardships, everything, he says, is all because of the inevitable time under whose control everyone in the planet is carried, just as clouds are carried by the wind. Later he says, no one can know the plan of Krishna. The time is Krishna. So under time's control, everything is there. And time is nothing but Krishna. So he goes to one step level, one step above, saying that no one knows the plans of Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna. And even though the great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. So in short, what Krishna is saying here is that all the hardship, all the miseries, all the difficulties that you face were because they were part of plan of Krishna, and nobody can escape that. Nobody can know his plans, and everybody has to tolerate, so suffer or enjoy due to the plans of Krishna. So how does this happen? Suppose if I am given the responsibility to take classes, then uh, I'm supposed to follow up with people for devotees who would want to come for classes. And if I for example, if I forget to send message for the weekly class, and or if I forget to send reminder for my weekly class, inviting people to my classes, and in the end I see only 2 people turn up for my classes, and then I'm being devotee, whoever comes, I still need to speak, and I speak, I give class, the entire class which I had made arrangement to come, 200 people will come, but I had anticipated, but only 2 people come, but never mind. I give them that entire class, whatever I had prepared, and thinking that this is all plan of Krishna. Maybe all the people in my city where I'm conducting classes, Bhagavad Gita classes, are so sinful, they are not eligible to receive this knowledge. Maybe this is how Krishna want. And and then I just keep quiet. I just consider it to be a plan of Krishna or hand of Krishna in this event of only 2 people turning up for my class. Am I right in my conclusion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, so it can be said that yes, partially you can be right, but because as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that karma, doing our duties are in our, they're our rightful act actually. So as far as our duty is concerned, that sending messages and reminder to persons, that is to be done on our part. And if still only two person turns up, then it is the plan of Krishna. But if we are not doing our duty, and then we are thinking that only 2 persons are turning up and this is the plan of Krishna, then somewhere we are lacking in our duties part.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So Anuradha Mataji is saying we can't give our best. Okay. We didn't do our best, our planned duties.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes.
Like karmanye vadukaraste. So we have not done our karma for reminding or calling the people. After that, whether they are coming or not coming, that is will of Krishna. That will come in their heart to join or not to join. But at least from our end, we should do the action which is prescribed duty to inform, to remind. So that was lacking in this case.
That was lacking. Okay. So I concluding that I'm justified. So that's not proper. But how will I know that if I ask my mind, I say that I did my part. So I should feel very proud of myself that even though 2 people came, I gave them the same class which I was supposed to give to 200 people. So to that extent, my mind says that you did your part. Why are you worried? So let's understand further. So further, Krishna, Lord Bhishma advises Yudhishthira that I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. So who will tell what is plan of Lord or what is not plan of Lord? A devotee can tell. Only a devotee can help us see hand of God or plan of God in the events happening in our life, good, bad, or ugly events. Why? Because when we are experiencer, we are not observer. of our life. We are experiencing. When I lose my job, I don't get a new job for 6 months. I'm the experiencer. I'm not observer anymore. I'm losing out on my money. My bank balance is reducing. I have a family to feed, and I'm worried. I'm chanting every day. I'm saying, Krishna, why you are not giving me job? How am I supposed to take care of my family? And I'm frustrating day after day. And more the delay, the 7th month comes, I don't have a job. I'm frustrated. I'm not happy at all. So hand of God, plan of God, who is going to see? If I run a business, my business start doing bad for no reason. All other people, all my friends who are in the same business, their business is doing well, and for some reason, some strange reason, my business is going down continuously. What is the plan of hand? What is the plan of God? Why God has a negative plan against me? So only a devotee can show us when there is a plan of what is the plan of God and he can guide us in the event which are happening to us. When we are experiencer, we cannot observe, we cannot suddenly become observer. And therefore, for this to happen, for a devotee to come in our life and tell us that what is wrong with our sadhana, what is wrong, or how we should look at events that are happening in our life, and how should we respond to those events. We need guidance from devotees, and for devotees to be able to guide us, we should have that line, that deep connection with them, a trusted relationship with the devotee. Devotee will not be able to come and without this kind of having such a nice, without having nice relationship, nice trusted proper relationship, a devotee will not be, even though they want to, they will not be able to help. And then the person will probably just keep getting frustrated more and more and more, and probably go turn his face away from Krishna, eventually may go away from Krishna. So this is a secret that devotee can tell, because they have learned from scriptures and they have heard from other devotees who have personally realized it, who have realized it through personal experiences. So pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam. So this knowledge of Krishna consciousness is also personally experienced by all of us, can be personally experienced by all of us. And those who have taken that experience can tell about that experience to others when others face through similar difficulties. So the devotee association is not just is heart to heart association. It not just sending reminders to come to classes. It not just it includes this, but it goes much beyond this, all this. And hence we should have a very, very good devotee contacts. We should have very, very good devotee mentors. So so this is again Narottam Prabhu covered elaborately in the previous session while he was answering to one question as well during the class, that now how to get devotee association. We have to approach devotees, we have to go towards devotees, and we have to seek these associations from devotees. Devotees are open, devotees are available, devotees are there. This is what they want to do. But especially in the digital preaching platform, we should be taking that initiative to approach devotees and seek such kind of a relationships. So we should take every opportunity to physically associate with devotees, to personally associate with devotees, to attend yatra, to take prasadam, to offer gifts, to call devotees home and to honor them, to provide them, to do all those 6 things with them, and inquiring with them, inquiring about our spirituality, inquiring about our growth in Krishna consciousness, how I can progress in Krishna consciousness. This is a secret that we have to take our initiative also. So by Prabhupada's mercy, Krishna is present. ISKCON is present everywhere. It's part of, it's practically there everywhere in every big city around the world. Online preaching is available, devotees are available, prasadam is available, their mercy is available. Krishna is available present in his holy name. In the words of Shastra are perfect. Bhagavad Gita is perfect. Bhagavatam is perfect. Chaitanya Charitamrita is perfect. So he's available. He's there in those words. He's there in those shastras. He's present in his holy name, holy sound. Hare Krishna Mahamantra which we chant. He's present there. He's present as a deity in temples. Temples are open. Fortunately for this lockdown, they didn't shut the temples, but Krishna is available in temple. Krishna is available in prasad. He is available in holy dham. So there is Krishna available. There is amply so many opportunities to get connected with him. And then there are devotees available who can help us connect with Krishna. So what's stopping us from getting establishing this connection with Krishna is our dedication, our faith to take up the process of hearing and chanting sincerely, and our determination to do it every day. Satata kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata. You have to dridha vrata. Dridha vrata is with great determination. We have to perform what? Satata kirtayanto mam. Krishna's kirtan, hearing and chanting, we have to perform with great determination. And when we do that, we attain Krishna. We attain Krishna. We develop remembrance of Krishna. We get mercy from devotees, and through devotee mercy, we get mercy from Krishna. How this will happen, we'll explain through a small example that a devotee is eager to help a new devotee, but a devotee can push. It's like we are trying to drive a car and we are sitting in a car and our friends are pushing from behind. Now, the objective is to start the car and start driving it on our own. And to help us do that, the devotees are pushing, the friends are pushing from behind. What if the car driver goes to sleep at the wheel, driving wheel? Then the people, those who are pushing from behind, they will see that he's not even trying to start the car and trying to drive a car. How far that person will keep pushing? Beyond a point, they will just get tired. They will probably go to someone else. And hence, it's important for us to also put in some effort to start the car and start driving it on our own. Objective is to do that ultimately. Objective for a devotee to get connected with Krishna ultimately. To enable that to happen, the devotees are helping us. But we shouldn't just go to sleep thinking that devotees will take us to Krishna ultimately. So we have to have our own effort for that. Also, we shouldn't put brakes. While the people from behind are pushing, the driver, instead of starting the car, start pressing brakes, and then that creates more, that increase the effort of the people who are pushing from behind. And so again, not an encouraging thing for them, because their effort will simply increase, or the car will stop moving eventually, because this person, instead of trying to start the car, is pressing brake, which will indicate that he's not interested in going anywhere. And eventually those people who are pushing from behind, they will give up. So, and that they giving up on us is most unfortunate thing to happen for our spiritual practice, spiritual growth. So value Krishna consciousness. So value Krishna's position by knowing about Krishna. Value the process of Krishna consciousness, which will help us develop remembrance of Krishna. Value sadhana bhakti, the daily morning chanting. Value hearing, because though all these things are learned once, are forgotten the next day, because we are bound in the material consciousness today. So they need repetition. We need to, that's why we need to hear continuously every day. And we need to chant continuously every day. We travel on the Western Express Highway or on the linking road in Mumbai, from one end of that road to another end of that road, and you will see so many posters of various objects, attractive sense objects being displayed on both sides of the road. So seeing this, you cannot escape. If you happen to live on that road, you are forced to travel on that road. You cannot escape watching those objects of sense objects of attraction, which are displayed, demonstrated on the advertising boards. So there is so much of material consciousness that we are forced to take in, and hence we must take in spiritual consciousness also every day. If we miss out on taking that input, a spiritual input, this material input will eventually overpower us, and hence we will simply lose out. So that's why we have so many people who come in and they go away, because of this lack of determination, lack of continuous effort put in by them, lack of continuity. They are not able to do it daily. Those who can't do it daily, they eventually leave Krishna consciousness, and they leave. They may get in touch with devotees again, and they may again come back, but that creates a spirit. That's a that's a spiritual misfortune for them, that they go away from Krishna. The whole process is so beautiful. They enjoy, they relish this while they are with devotees. But if you don't do it daily, then you're not in a very good condition. You're not in a very good position. So devotees are there to help, but we have to put in our own efforts to start the car and start moving towards Krishna. And that's what we should be doing. The second last point is detachment. Detachment from material world and relationships. So in this verse, Bhishma is surrounded by all his loved ones and who for whom who was worried. He was worried all throughout his life. So now he's seen Yudhishthir in a royal opulence, royal attire, as a king, coming in front of him as a king of the whole universe, and he feels very satisfied. And Arjuna is there, Bhima is there, and other Pandavas are there, other great sages are there. So in their company, instead of being satisfied and happy in this company, Bhishma is switching gear, seems to be switching gear, because now he's realized that his duty, his part of this play is over, and now he has to depart. So in order to develop this consciousness, when we should know when it is enough, is not easy, and that requires a lot of practice. So Bhishma, having developed this detachment, the sense of detachment, vairagya, right? Because he performed so many austerities, he could easily switch gears and cut off his attachments from the world and focus on Krishna. So on this first verse, thereupon that man who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings, and who fought on thousands of battlefields and protected thousands of men, stopped speaking, and being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide open eyes upon the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who stood before him, four-handed, dressed in yellow garment that glittered and shined. So having more we achieve, more entangled we become. And Bhishma had achieved so much in his entire life. He was the most formidable warrior, unconquered warrior in the whole planet for all his life. He defeated even Parshuram. He was the most learned person. He was a combination, because he learned from sages. Normally the Kshatriyas are not expert in Vedas or in the Shastras, but he had expert knowledge in practically everything, all the administrative matters, the Vedic matters, the Shastric matters, the warfield matters, and he knew so many things, and he was engaged in service to this royal throne. And he was doing that service also all throughout his life. He fought so many battles for that. But so having achieved so much makes us entangled so much. Whatever small achievements we have today in our life, we feel so proud about it. We feel so happy about it, and we tell everybody we did this, we did that, and we speak nicely about it. We take pictures, we put it on the social media, and people likes it, and we feel great about it. So it's very natural for us to be puffed up, to become proud of all our achievements. And Bhishma, in spite of having so many achievements, you could simply, in one moment, he could withdraw himself from all these entanglements and focus his mind on Krishna. So Krishna is saying, let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties in the all-powerful Lord Krishna. So again, very important message that we will have duties, we will have occupational duties, we will have different topics in which our engagements will be required. However, the most important topic of our life, of our survival, is to understand Krishna, to focus on Krishna. So sadhana, whatever we are doing right now, the hearing and chanting predominantly, should be our top priority in the day. When we wake up every day morning, we should rise to chant. We should sleep we should sleep after hearing. And between that, whatever we need to do, we should do to go through the rest of the day. But these two are the primary activities that we should have focus upon. And that's what we learn again from these words of Bhishmadev. So he's always self-satisfied, but sometimes being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created. So, so the last part we will see, and again a beautiful verse which Bhishma speaks towards the end. So this is the second last verse which Bhishma speaks, and then he breathes his last breath. This is a verse which is a very unusual verse, and very, very. So let's explore this. So in the 40th verse in the same chapter, Bhishma says something very significant. He says that Lalita Gati Vilasa, Valguhasa, Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpito Rumanaha, Krutamanu Krutavatya Unmanandhaha, Prakrutim Ganakila Yasya Gopavadvaha. So the meaning translation is, let my mind be fixed upon Lord Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Vrajadham, the gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movements of the Lord after his disappearance from the rasa dance. So Bhishma, now we must understand what's happening here. Bhishmadev is lying on the bed of arrows and about to take his last breath. Now Bhishmadev also was a brahmachari, ajanma brahmachari. He was a celibate. He didn't. He never associated with women, and lifelong brahmacharya he followed by his own choice. He took a vow to that effect. So for anyone to what should we do at the moment of death? Antakalecha mam evam smaran muktva kalevaram. That's what Krishna has advised, that you should remember me alone at the time of death. And here, brahmacharya, ajanma brahmachari is remembering gopis, women basically. But women, they are not ordinary women. But so instead of remembering Krishna, he's remembering gopis, and he's remembering how those gopis, what those gopis were doing. They were imitating Krishna's pastimes, and so this happens. So in the rasa dance chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the canto 10, it is said that when Krishna played flute and called all gopis, and in the middle of night, and they all assembled and they started dancing. And because of the pride that the gopis were experiencing, that every gopi was dancing with Krishna alone, and they were so Krishna expanded himself to as many gopis as they were there, and then they all started dancing. Now every gopi was dancing with Krishna, and having got this opportunity, it developed pride in their hearts, and seeing pride develop, Krishna disappears from the scene of rasa dance. And once the Krishna disappears, the gopis start searching for Krishna. And while they were searching for Krishna everywhere in the forest of Vrindavan, they couldn't find Krishna. And then they all get devastated. They all get because of the separation from Krishna. They were with Krishna for a moment before, and now they are without Krishna. The Krishna is gone away from them, and they are devastated by sorrow of separation from Krishna. And in that mood, they search the whole forest and they can't find Krishna. By their own effort, they couldn't find Krishna. And then they all assembled. They went back to the place where they were performing rasa dance, and then they assembled there, and they start performing various leelas in remembrance of Krishna. So they were remembering Krishna, and then they were performing all the leelas that had happened in Vrindavan. Then somebody was becoming Putana, and then Krishna was killing her. Somebody was becoming Trunavart, and then Krishna was crushing him down. And these were all leelas that were performed by gopis in the remembrance. They practically became mad due to the separation from Krishna. And Bhishma is remembering gopis in this mood, that he is currently with Krishna, but he is going to go away from Krishna in the material body, in the material level. While Krishna is still in the material world, he is going to go away from Krishna, and therefore he is experiencing that mood. He is remembering gopis, how gopis felt when they were separated from Krishna, and so this is a mood in which he's remembering this. So this verse describes the condition of gopis on the rasa dance night when Krishna disappears. So gopis, when they so Bhishma is remembering the topmost devotees of Krishna before taking his last breath. Just like gopis, there are a lot of similarities in the way in the life of gopis and life of Bhishma, though externally they were all completely different. Gopis were married to other men, and so their relationship with Krishna was in a parakiya rasa, parakiya bhava. So they would secretly meet Krishna. They could not meet Krishna openly, and this was the rasa that Krishna wanted to enjoy, and hence he arranged it that way. Similarly, Bhishma also was in the enemy camp. Bhishma couldn't associate with his beloved god much, because whenever Krishna would come to Hastinapur to meet Pandavas, that time he would also meet Bhishma. But apart from that, there are not too many occasions when they could meet and they could discuss, or he could offer worship to Krishna. So there are very few occasions on which Krishna and Bhishma could get opportunities to meet face to face and discuss. So their association was very limited, just like gopis. Both were misunderstood. Gopis were misunderstood because they went out at the middle of night and to associate with Krishna. So they were misunderstood generally from the chastity point of view. And Bhishma was also misunderstood because he was in the enemy camp. He sided with adharma. He for whatever reasons that he gave, but the fact of the matter remained that he was protecting Kauravas, who were adharma, who were symbol of adharma at that time, and instead of protecting Pandavas, he was fighting a war to kill Pandavas, unfortunately, and also fought a war against his own beloved god, Lord Krishna himself. So his arrows were directed at Arjuna, were also hitting Krishna at times, and Krishna was getting wounded by his arrows, by his sharp arrows, as he later described. So he had a very difficult service of fighting against Krishna, going against Krishna, and similar was the service of the gopis. So he accepted this service, knowing fully that Krishna will anyhow and somehow protect Pandavas by performing some leela, and therefore Bhishma was determined in his service, even though it brought him infamy. He was misunderstood by the world. Also, Bhishma, till the very last moment, desired to serve Krishna. Hence, he did not use his Ichha Mrityu Vardhan. He fell on 10th day of the war. And after that also, he lived till the Makar Sankranti day. And in between, a lot of things had happened. So he tolerated all the pain. He tolerated all the hardship that he was made to suffer because of this wound, the injuries, everything he tolerated, because he did not want to miss out on the opportunity to serve Krishna in the last moment. So the last moment, Krishna presented that opportunity when he requested Yudhishthir to go and take instructions from Bhishma, instead of he himself, giving him conclusive evidence, conclusive instructions. So Bhishma could then render some service to Lord, as requested by Krishna. Bhishma gave elaborate instructions to Yudhishthir about Raja Dharma and duties of a king in general. And for that opportunity, to take up that opportunity, he suffered. He suffered and tolerated all the pains and hardships and sufferings and wounds. And so again, learning for us is uh, that we should also be prepared to take some pain for Krishna, go out of our comfort zone and do something for Krishna, because that is what will make Krishna happy. That is what will make us purified, and that's how we can make some progress in Krishna consciousness. So, a couple of more slides. Where Prabhupada, and this is from the purport to this verse, the 40th verse. Prabhupada writes that the relation of the Lord with Arjuna is undoubtedly praiseworthy for devotees like Bhishmadev. But the relation of the gopis with the Lord is still more praiseworthy because of their still more purified loving service. Bhishma's aspiration to remember the gopis is a prayer to have their mercy also at the last stage of his life. The Lord is satisfied more when his pure devotees are glorified. And therefore, Bhishmadev has not only glorified the acts of Arjuna, his immediate object of attraction, but he has also remembered the gopis who were endowed with unrivaled opportunities for rendering loving service to the Lord. So to summarize, we have seen a few aspects about Bhishmadev's personality. And studied and tried picking up few threads of learnings for ourselves and for our sadhana, for developing our Krishna consciousness, what we can learn from Bhishmadev and we can implement in our life. So the knowledge about Krishna is very important. It is sometimes people do take Krishna very cheaply. And it could be too, if you only have sentiments without knowledge or knowledge without sentiment, in that case, we can't make much progress. We need both, good balance of both. We need proper knowledge. We need to have proper sentiments. We need, if one feels love and affection for Krishna, but has no knowledge about his greatness, he will not be able to make much progress. Similarly, the other way around is also true. If you only have knowledge, but if you don't perform sadhana, if you don't hear his pastimes, and so therefore there should be direct engagement in Krishna consciousness activities like chanting, where chanting is an opportunity to directly associate with Krishna, because Krishna is present in his holy name, and hearing of his pastimes, that help us develop develop affection towards Krishna and develop love for Krishna. But knowledge about his greatness also make us humble, make us aware of his opulence, and therefore we are able to maintain proper mood when we go and stand in front of deity, when we honor prasad, when we meet devotees, that he has revealed this knowledge to those devotees. So those devotees are so dear to him, and therefore if I wish to have some drop of knowledge from those devotees, I should be humble, and I should be humble with them. I should serve them nicely, and therefore this disciplic succession chain has begun, that Krishna reveals this knowledge to his devotees, and who then reveals it to other devotees, and that's how everyone learns and progress towards Krishna. Rendering of devotional service to Krishna, starting with hearing and chanting under devotee guidance, is essential for making progress in Krishna consciousness, because just by having knowledge, we cannot develop affection for Krishna. In order for that to happen, the hearing of his pastime has to happen, the direct hearing, and the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is necessary. And unless these two are done, the knowledge is taken and the sadhana is performed, services are performed, we cannot make much progress. And this can best be done under devotee guidance, because devotees can we can give general knowledge from the classes like this, but devotee can customize it to our conditioning. Each of us can have different misconceptions, different difficulties, and each of those need to be worked personally. By a devotee can do that. When we have a good devotee contact, he can help us overcome our difficulties and move towards Krishna rapidly. Good and bad things will continue to happen due to time, karma, and three modes of nature. Yesterday we heard from Narta Prabhu. Under these three influence, these things will keep happening. And because we have taken a body, we are today present in this world, which means we have some karma to suffer or karma to enjoy or past karma to enjoy. So those things will come and they will continue to come. So it is important for us to elevate our consciousness with full knowledge and faith that we must see things why they are coming, see them as sanctioned by Krishna, tolerate them if they are not so good, do everything in our capacity to mitigate it, but eventually tolerate it, because that's how we will be able to overcome them and continue to practice Krishna consciousness. Have a desire to develop deep connection with Krishna as well, because as we saw, objective is to start the car and start moving towards Krishna, and each one of us has a special relationship with Krishna, and devotees are helping us reveal, helping us to move towards Krishna so that that relationship is revealed ultimately. But we are far away from that. But we should all have a desire to develop a connection with Krishna. So today, some devotees are following up with me, and then because of them, I'm attending some programs. I'm attending chanting. I'm attending hearing sessions. I'm visiting temples. I'm whatever I'm doing because somebody is constantly following up with me. What if that person gets some other services, become busy with something else? He may not be able to push us. He may not be able to be there to remind us to every day. And then what will happen to us? We will stop. We'll go back to our old ways of life, and then that will bring a interruption in our bhakti. So how to avoid that? We should develop, at least have a desire to develop deep connection with Krishna also. While devotees are there to help me, my objective should also to develop that connection with Krishna and move towards Krishna. Even though, so I can do that even when people are not there to push me for some reason. I hope none of you or me go in that condition where there is nobody to talk. There is nobody to talk. But just in case we get posted overseas or we get disconnected for some reason from devotees, then our bhakti is destroyed. Then we go back to zero. We'll have to again have mercy of devotees and start from where we left. So why waste time? So we should always have a desire to develop a direct connection with Krishna also, so that we can perform bhakti even when there is nobody to push. So we can start performing bhakti on our own, wholeheartedly with full faith. And have faith that Krishna will reciprocate to our sincere devotion and will take us back to him at the end of our current life, because we will keep experiencing Krishna's mercy throughout our life as we continue to perform sadhana bhakti, and that will give us faith, that will increase our conviction in Krishna. So the facility for daily remembering Krishna, the morning morning chanting session starts at 5 and goes on till 7:30, and the evening hearing session of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita starts at 8:30 and goes on till 9:15. So I'll stop here. I'll go to the question answer session. We'll start the question answer session. So anyone has any questions? I'll see the chat box also, but anybody wish to unmute and ask questions, happy to take questions now or comments if anybody has to offer. And meanwhile, I'll go to the chat box so that we can take some questions from the chat box.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Sainath here.
Yes, Sainath Prabhu.
Acha, Prabhuji, I did not understand what was the reason behind why Bhishmadev agreed to fight for Kauravas under Duryodhana. Didn't he know that Duryodhana was wrong in his fighting with Pandavas for the kingdom?
So there are external reasons which Bhishmadev himself gives, that he wanted to be. So one is vow that he will protect the Kuru kingdom, Hastinapur Simhasan, and that time Duryodhana was not there, obviously. So So the whoever will sit in that throne, the Dhritarashtra or his descendants, he considered it to be his job to protect them. So that is one. And also the financially, he said, was he was not a salaried employee of Kuru, but this was primary reason that he has given, that it was his vow to protect the kingdom, and hence he continued with it. But it was an external reason. The internal reason was to be able. This was the service given by Krishna, and that is his internal reason why he was given a difficult service, because Krishna had to fight. The war had to happen, and all these Kurus were to be destroyed, and everybody was given service. Arjuna was given service to annihilate everyone, and Bhishma was also similarly given this service to fight on the side of the Kauravas. So both the reasons are simultaneously true, that he had taken a vow to protect the kingdom. At the same time, this was a service that was offered to him by Krishna, and he performed that service, and he felt very happy that his service was accepted. At the end, when Krishna broke his vow, Krishna came in front of him in spite of he got many injuries because of Bhishma's arrow, and so that is the indication that his service was well accepted by Krishna. So both the reasons are simultaneously true.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Swapan
Hare
here.
Krishna. Yes, Papandra.
I just wanted to ask you, when Draupadi was being insulted by the Kauravas, why didn't Bhishma stop them? So was it Bhishma's dereliction of duty, or was it the will of God?
So Bhishma was also present at that time, and so the question I think that Draupadi was asking is, if Yudhishthir has lost himself, can he gamble me? This was the question that she was asking to the Kuru assembly. And the couple of there were obviously multiple views that were emerging, and Bhishma also didn't intervene. That's reality. And so why he didn't intervene? He was feeling extremely miserable, extremely sorry for what was all happening. But because it was done by the Kuru dynasty, whose protection is what was included in his vow, he couldn't hurt them. It is simple, because he couldn't go against them at that point of time. So he was this is a niyamagraha, and a niyamagraha is when you try to follow a rule that you have created for yourself, even when it is not supposed to be done that way. So, for example, you have taken a vow to speak the truth, and you see a cow going and hiding in the bushes somewhere, and then her master and a butcher come running afterwards. Now they may come and ask you, have you seen the cow? Now you see the butcher and you see what has happened. He's probably sold a cow to the butcher, and butcher now wants to take her and kill. Now, and you have taken a vow to speak the truth, and you know where cow is hiding. So there is one view that you will have to speak the truth, because that's what your vows will compel you to do. And so this is a niyamagraha, that you have taken a vow, which is a good vow. There is nothing wrong about speaking the truth, but by speaking the truth, you're causing a general harm. Now, in this case, by speaking the truth, you will point to the bush where the butcher will go and pick up that cow and take her and eventually will kill her. Could this have been avoided? Yes. So for that, at appropriate time, you will have to give up your vow to speaking the truth. You will have to compromise on your vow of speaking the truth. Now that compromise may prove that you are not kept your vow, but it eventually will help in the in the general well-being. So this is a niyam agraha. So what you should do what action you should take actually differs in time place with time place circumstance. So we can't be only one have a single view and do only according to that view. So this was the error or mistake that Bhishmadev also committed, and that's the reality. Okay. The cause of all causes. Krishna, there's one question in the chat box. Is Krishna is cause of all causes? And if Krishna has no cause or is self-evolved, then Krishna says, what we are because of our own karma. Please guide with your divine knowledge. So, Swapan Prabhu, this is your question?
No, not mine.
Okay. Who's
But the question is interesting.
Yeah, no, I just want to understand the question a little bit. If Krishna is cause of all causes, and if Krishna has no cause and is self-evolved, then Krishna says that what we are because of our own karma. Please guide with it. So I don't know. Let me just check who. Not able to click. So is there Swapnil Adhav? Are you there in the call right now, Swapnil? Okay, so let's try to understand his question a little bit more. So he's saying the question is that what if we are what we are, but because of our own karma, and Krishna has, but these two things are different. So Krishna is the cause of all causes, but we are what we are because of all our karma. Is now the both statements are simultaneously true, because there is a third statement which is missing. That is, Krishna has given us free will. Now, how we understand this, reconcile this, which is what reconciles both the statements. Now, Krishna is the cause of all causes, which means he's the ultimate cause. And Krishna, and we are what we are because of our own past karma. So we are responsible for our condition. So if I am born on a street living a miserable life, I am responsible. I'm working as a beggar. I am responsible for my action. Because of my own hard work, I have become beggar. It's not somebody has removed his anger on me and made me a beggar. I have my own actions responsible for that. How these two are responsible? Because the Krishna has given us free will, which is the reconciling factor between the two. Using my free will, I choose to act according to the laws of Krishna or against the laws of Krishna. And when I act against the laws of Krishna, I get consequences. So our actions have consequences. Now this framework of rules is created by Krishna. So to that extent, Krishna is ultimate cause. But my immediate cause are my immediate actions, my past actions and my past reactions, which are now I'm suffering. So with this free will concept, we can understand that both these statements are simultaneously true. Krishna is not responsible for our today's action, because though he created a rule of karma, law of karma, he didn't force us to break the law and suffer because of that. Just like a government may create a rule that jumping signal will cost you 500 rupees. Government is not asking you to jump the signal so that its treasury gets filled with money. You're free not to do that. But if you do that, you get a challan of 500 rupees and you will end up paying that. Now you are suffering because you're losing 500 rupees but the government is not responsible for it. Okay, so that way we have our own free will to break and not to break the law. If we happen to break the law, we face the consequences. There is one more question. I've got today's answer. For the trouble I face, give and trust like all you are. Some trust. Eventually, you will get the same from a different source. Burning question is today's world. When I do this, people consider me murkha. How to tackle that? Another interesting question that says that I have got give and trust, like will your own without expecting. Okay, trust without expecting anything in return. Understand? Eventually, you will get the same from different sources. Burning question in today's world, that when I do this, people consider me as burka. So basically, if I have to do something without expecting anything in return, I will be considered as a foolish. Is probably what I understand. This question is asked by SP. Who is SP? Is there Sadanand? No, I don't know what. Who is it? Okay. So let's, I think, try and understand this question. Who's asked this question? Are you there in the call? You can probably speak. Okay, let's try and attempt to answer this question, whatever I have understood. What if we speak, when we try to do good, we may be considered as a fool. If we try to do good to others, we will be considered as fools. And that's true. When we go for book distribution, we are looked up as fools. People we go to Juhu Beach for book distribution. People go there to enjoy, have bhel, and come with their families, spend time in this, entering water, playing with ball, doing some fun activities. Whereas devotees go all out. They leave their comforts of their homes, their families behind, or sometimes they take their families, come to Juhu Beach, do Harinam, and do book distribution. Why? This is because, and people may, some people may actually consider this as a foolish work, but that is their ignorance. You can't help it. Devotees do it for their purification and their satisfaction, their compassion. They do it out of their compassion for other people. They have found something valuable. They have found something sublime. They have found something which they're relishing, and they want to share it with others. It's a natural reaction that we want to share whatever good we have, we share it with others. So that's okay. If that's perfectly all right. But as a devotee, you get great joy even when one person accepts a book and come to the classes and start attending chanting and hearing sessions. You get great joy, and you become so dear to Krishna for bringing one more soul closer to him. And so devotees doesn't mind, being looked up as fools. That's fine. Krishna says in the wives of Brahmana, the Gopas are going constantly. He keeps sending Gopas to go and beg for food. They said you should not feel afraid or should not feel ashamed when you have to go and do begging for Krishna on behalf of Krishna. You should not feel ashamed. So please go again. So you keep going. They keep going and coming back. First time they come back with nothing, and they said those Brahmanas are, they just shoo us away. They says bhag jao, yahan se kuch nahi milega. But they say no, go again. Go to their wives. They will give. And they say you should not feel ashamed. You should not feel bad if you are doing anything for Krishna, Krishna's service. You should do that, and that's how we should look at it. So if you are doing something, we are trying to give Krishna to anyone, and even if we should obviously be selective, and we should do our best to pick up right people to cultivate, and when we cultivate them, they become devotee. We get great joy. We get great mercy from Krishna. So that's why we should not leave any opportunity to spread Krishna consciousness, spread word of Krishna, distribute books, or do any other service for pleasing Krishna. Swapnil Adhav has one more question. As per my limited understanding, our karma will lead us to connect to Krishna, whether we get invite or not. So invitation is just one of the means to connect to our Lord. Yes, invitation is one of the way that you will receive an invitation to come and attend this call. Similarly, you will get a book from someone. So Krishna will try ways and means in which he can catch your attention. But having done that, it's your also endeavor to hold on to that. But it's very easy for us to forget Krishna otherwise. So we don't have any natural attraction for Krishna. We don't say like gopis that yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravrushavitam shunyaitam jagata sarva govinda virehename. We don't say like this. For us, bhakti, Krishna is small part of our whole life, and our whole life has filled with work, filled with family issues, filled with work related issues, filled with sports, economics, and stock market, and so on, so many things. And one of them thing is Krishna consciousness as of now. So Krishna consciousness is, we don't have any natural attraction for Krishna, but by associating with devotees who are relishing bhakti, who are relishing chanting, who are relishing kirtans, who are relishing yatras, by associating with such devotees, we develop attraction, desire to cultivate that same attraction. And by doing that, by associating with such devotees, we start relishing the same process. We start relishing chanting by associating with devotees, those who enjoy chanting. So then it becomes getting up early in the morning and, chanting, joining the chanting session becomes so easy. So we don't have any natural attraction for Krishna, but we have to cultivate the one. Why? Because it is critical, because that is critical for getting us eternal love and eternal happiness. And since our objects are so lofty, so great, our endeavor also has to be great. Our endeavor also has to be there. And starting with our endeavor and then going towards Krishna's mercy, that journey we have to complete. Once we start getting mercy from Krishna, our journey will become easy. And then, the ananya cheta satata yomam smrati nityashaha tasyaham sulabha partha. That's how Krishna says that then it becomes so easy, sulabha, very easy. So it doesn't. So that's how we have to hold on to do our part. So Twinkle Mataji has a question. Roji, how can we detach ourselves? Like sometimes we are attached with the results. So if we get any results, good, bad, it's for a very short period of time. But sometimes later I meditate upon it, and it so much so much that I'm unable to do what is the present duty, and get very much distracted. So even while chanting also, I cannot concentrate. How do we get detached? So one way of getting detachment is, Mataji, by knowing that whatever we have is gift by Krishna. So we may have a good family with all the facilities. We may have good physical body which is healthy, which is good looking, which could be which is less troubling in the sickness, and which has good immunity, which has good strength. All these things, Krishna says in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that all the ability, the skills, the everything, whatever we possess actually comes from Krishna. Matah smrutir jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes buddhi, smriti, remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Everything comes from Krishna. All our skills, some may have whatever skills may be having. I may be a chartered accountant, could be good with numbers. Somebody could be a lawyer, is good with words. Somebody could be a poet, he's good with poetry. Somebody could be an artist, he's good with art. Somebody could be a singer, an actor, a cricketer, or whatever good skills and qualities, abilities that people possess. Krishna says, I am the source of all those things. So everything comes from me. So when we have this learning, when we have this knowledge, and then we act in the world. Now we need to act still in the same world, material world, where we have to do things to earn our living, earn our livelihood, and maintain our dependence, maintain ourselves nicely. When we perform our occupational duties with this knowledge that everything has come from Krishna, all our abilities have come from Krishna, then it becomes easier for us to remain detached from the results that we achieve out of that effort. Because there will be an effort, and effort will lead to a result. If we assume our skills to be our own property, then the efforts also, the result of a good result which comes becomes our subject matter of pride and arrogance. That will lead to pride and arrogance. But if we if we consider whatever we possess as mercy of God, as gift from Krishna, then whatever we achieve using those abilities becomes a mercy of Krishna, because the original input, the skills itself was because of Krishna's mercy. Then the results which I achieve after using those skills also is Krishna's mercy. So in that case, we even if we achieve grand success, we are able to maintain. We're able to remain detached from the results, considering it to be a mercy from Krishna. However, there is an effort involved. There is an input, process, and output. So in between, there is an effort involved. The process is involved. And following that process properly, utilizing skills properly is still our endeavor. If we don't do that properly, the results sometimes may not come out good. And even if in spite of my best effort, my result is not good, I accept it as Krishna's plan. So hearing this continuously in association of devotees, hearing it from devotees through classes, through one-on-one sessions, this knowledge become fixed in our mind. And then whatever the result, it doesn't affect us negatively. It doesn't mean that so detachment is not that like becoming it's not like becoming after giving anesthesia the person doesn't feel happiness or distress. We don't hope to go to that stage. That's not the achievement. That's not something that we wish to achieve. We want to have sentiments. We will naturally feel happy when we do something good, and we will naturally feel sad if something does not work out. So those are natural feelings that will come and go. However, we'll not get entangled in those if we are Krishna conscious. And that is possible through day-to-day hearing of Krishna consciousness philosophy, and through one-on-one sessions which you should have through your mentors, with your mentors in the Krishna consciousness. That will help us see the hand of God or God's plan, that in spite of my best effort, if things are not working out, it must be Krishna's plan. So I accept it. I tolerate it. Even if it is hardship, I tolerate it. Even if it comes out successfully, it is Krishna's plan, and it is the success is also Krishna's. And so that way one may remain detached from the pride that success can give us, or from the depression that failure can bring us. So we can remain detached from these things. Otherwise, we will remain happy. We will become happy. We should become happy. These are natural sentiments that we will experience as we act in this world. So hope, Twinkle Mataji, this has answered your question. Dwarkanath Prabhuji has a question. One of the 6 opulence of Bhagwan. Yeah. If you have any follow-up question, please ask. Otherwise, we'll move to the next question. Bhagwan Sri Krishna is how? Okay, one of the 6 opulence of Bhagwan Krishna. How can we perceive the 2 opulence, namely fame and renunciation in the Lord, which of his action demonstrate the 2 opulence? The renunciation, Prabhuji, the renunciation is when you achieve something, when you are so for example, you are running a business. If you're running a business, you are okay, you have an office of your own, maybe a factory or a workshop of your own, and then there are people whom you recruit, whose those families depend upon your salary. You give them salary, you do sales, then you have some production, use some inventory, the management has to be done, the finance management has to be done, the marketing management has to be done, and you get caught up in doing all this while you run the business successfully. And assume you are a successful businessman, you make a lot of money end of the year and show a lot of profit, pay a lot of tax, and then do some charity. And in general, this is how you are. Now, while doing this, you can imagine life of a businessman like this. You are entangled. You are entangled from morning till evening. You are caught up in doing so many things. Sorry, I'll just mute someone. You just simply get caught up in doing so many things for your business, and in this way, you are unable to find time for yourself. But Now to take the same example, import it to Krishna. Now Krishna runs this universe. Krishna, because of Krishna's order, the sun rises and the moon rises and the wind blow, the rain happens or the drought happens, the earthquake happens. Everything is happening with Krishna's will. The people are born, people are dying, and the forest fire take place. Everything is managed by Krishna's sanction, managed by Krishna's will. Everything is happening under Krishna's will. The planetary system, the solar system movements are controlled by Krishna. Each and every soul in this planet, we don't know how many souls exist in the world, but in this world and in other world, each and every soul reactions to be given. Whoever, every so many 7 billion people in this planet are performing some actions. Each of those actions need to be has some consequence, has some reactions, and somebody has to keep count of all that. And Krishna is doing it. Everything is happening under his will, but he is detached from all these things. He is not entangled in any of these things. He is not caught up in doing all these things. He is not running from one meeting to another meeting. He's not, he's not talking with 2-3 phones in his hand simultaneously, giving instructions. Yahan pe ye karo, wahan pe wo karo. What is he doing? He's playing flute. He's calling gopis at the middle of night and dancing. He's playing with his gopa friends. He's stealing butter. What is he doing? Why is this is renouncement? This is how we understand his renounce. He could have got caught up there, but he is arranged it in such a way and doesn't care. He does not. He owns this whole world, but he wear a helmet which is made up of flowers. He doesn't wear ornaments. He wear a flower garland from his devotees. And what he steal butter, which is not such an important material, but that gives his devotee pleasure and that gives him pleasure. So he's exchanging all these rasas, and that demonstrates his renunciation. His fame, how do we perceive his fame? He is famous. I mean, he's famous for so many years. For 5,000 years ago, he appeared, and till now we celebrate. And we're fortunate enough to celebrate his appearance day, and his leela, his pastimes. Everything is talked about in all over different corners of the world, and everywhere he's glorified. In Damodar Dham, Damodar month, every corner of the world, every temple of ISKCON, he's offered lamp in the morning and in the evening, and the Damodar Ashtakam is sung by thousands and millions of devotees all over the world, and in homes, in temples. So that's his fame. No other person, President of India, no other Prime Minister of India, President of America, no other person is as famous as he is. So he is famous, and he's been famous for so many years, and he will continue to remain famous for rest of eternity. He's not only famous amongst Indians or the people of this world, he's famous amongst animals. So even animals get attracted to him. When Krishna appeared in Vrindavan, all the animals were assisting him in his pastimes. So that's what his fame is all about. Rajesh Venkat. Sangeeta Hoja, just because the topic of book distribution came up, hence suggestion, not at all busting instead of going on the streets and distributing. I checked address of various schools in the remote areas on internet, like Angapur, Latur. Yeah, Sangeeta Mataji, this also we do. We go on street, and wherever the places of wherever we see good crowd, we try and give them books, and but we contact schools also, and many devotees come forward to do this, and this is also another way of spreading Krishna's words. And not only that, we give books, and we also follow it up with the sessions on the Bhagavad Gita. So we recently conducted an introduction to Bhagavad Gita sessions for a school in Madhya Pradesh. So we do those activities also, and all are welcome in whatever in service of Krishna. Everything is welcome. So thanks for sharing this. Any other questions anyone has? We can or else we can close up today's session.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
So thank you very much for just enhancing our this spiritual knowledge. And the question you asked, that answer was going in the material sense. It is all pertaining to Krishna only. Like whatever is happening with us, or whatever will be happening, or whatever karma we are incurring, and that all are the plan of Krishna when we are in the devotional service. When we are devoid of it, means when we are engaged in the material senses, then definitely our one point also that we should also try to connect with Krishna. Means in addition to devotees, that whenever devotees are busy with their schedule, like you are extremely busy, Narottam Priya Prabhuji is tremendously busy. So we should try to get inspiration from you and try to get connect with Krishna also. So thank you very much for adding that point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Okay, so if there are no more questions, we can close today's session. And thank you all for joining today. And we will continue with our discussions on topics of Bhagavad Gita from next Sunday. And we hope all of you remain healthy and Krishna conscious throughout the week. Join us on chanting sessions in the morning and chat sessions in the evening. And that is good way to remain in contact with Krishna all throughout the week. And then we will catch up next Sunday also. So wish you all a great week ahead and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.